Laura and David. Theirs had always been a love story for the ages. At least that's what she'd believed. 16 years of marriage, 2 beautiful children, a life that from the outside seemed like a perfect picture. But lately, a shadow had crept into the edges of that picture. A subtle shift in David's demeanor, a missed phone call here, a late night at work there. Nothing concrete, nothing Laura could put her finger on. Yet the unease lingered.
She pushed the feeling away, refusing to give it credence. David was her husband, the man who vowed to love her forever. Their bond was strong, unbreakable, wasn't it?
She clung to that belief, the foundation of her world. One chilly autumn evening, David came home late. Again. He offered a tired smile and a quick kiss. Laura tried to read his expression, searching for any sign, any confirmation of her growing fear. His eyes seemed to hold secrets. She quickly averted her gaze, her heart pounding in her chest. That night, as she lay beside him, his back turned towards her, Laura couldn't shake off the feeling that something was terribly wrong. The seed of doubt, once so small, had begun to take root in her heart. It was Rachel, Laura's best friend, who first gave voice to Laura's unspoken fear. They were having lunch, catching up on their lives. Laura, hesitant at first, confided in Rachel about the anxieties plaguing her. Rachel's reaction was immediate, her brow furrowing with concern.
Laura, I saw David the other day. He was with another woman.
The words hit Laura like a physical blow. The world around her seemed to tilt on its axis. Denial rose up within her, a tidal wave threatening to consume her.
That's impossible.
She choked out, her voice barely a whisper. Rachel reached across the table, her hand covering Laura's.
I'm so sorry, Laura. I didn't want to believe it myself, but I saw them. They were intimate.
Laura's mind raced, a chaotic jumble of thoughts and emotions. It couldn't be true. David wouldn't do this to her, to their family. And yet, Rachel's words, spoken with such conviction, planted a seed of doubt so deep she couldn't ignore it. The days that followed were a blur of agonizing uncertainty. Laura found herself replaying every interaction with David, searching for clues she might have missed. Every late night, every unanswered phone call, every distant look in his eyes seemed to confirm Rachel's words. Driven by a desperate need for answers, Laura began to follow David. She hated the deceit, the sinking feeling in her stomach with each passing day.
It was a Tuesday, she remembered vividly, when she saw him with her own eyes. He was with another woman, just as Rachel had described. They were laughing, their hands intertwined, the picture of happiness.
Laura's breath caught in her throat, her legs turning to lead. She watched, paralyzed by the scene unfolding before her, as David leaned in and kissed the woman. A long, lingering kiss that shattered Laura's world into a million pieces. Laura's hands trembled as she raised the camera to her eye. Through the lens, she saw the undeniable truth. Her husband, her David, in the arms of another. The click of the shutter echoed in the silence, a stark reminder of the life she thought she had, the future she believed was theirs.
That evening, armed with the photograph and a heart full of betrayal, Laura confronted David. The words tumbled out, raw and ragged, each syllable laced with the pain that consumed her.
David at first denied everything, but the evidence was there, in the tears streaming down Laura's face, in the photograph clutched tightly in her hand. The fight was short-lived, the air thick with the unspoken words that hung between them. There was no explanation from David, no apology that could mend the shattered remnants of their love. Just a cold, hard acceptance of the truth.
That night, as Laura packed a bag, the weight of her decision pressed down on her. She was leaving David. Their story, once a source of comfort and joy, was over.
In the aftermath of her separation from David, Laura found herself adrift, clinging to the wreckage of her life. The pain was relentless, a constant ache in her chest.
She moved into a small apartment, the silence deafening after years of shared laughter and whispered secrets.
Rachel was her rock, her constant companion through the storm. She was there for late-night phone calls, tearful confessions, and shared bottles of wine.
You're stronger than you think, Rachel would say, her voice filled with unwavering support. You'll get through this.
Laura clung to Rachel's words, her friendship, a lifeline in the vast ocean of her grief. She focused on her children, their innocent smiles a balm for her wounded heart. Slowly, painstakingly, she began to piece her life back together. One evening, while helping Laura sort through some old boxes, Rachel stumbled upon a familiar item, a faded photograph of David, taken years ago. Laura's breath hitched, a wave of memories washing over her. It was David before she knew him, before their paths crossed and their love story began.
But as Laura gazed at the photo, a chilling realization dawned on her. The woman standing next to David, her arm linked through his, wasn't a stranger. It was Rachel.
The blood drained from Laura's face as the truth hit her with the force of a physical blow. All those years ago, before Laura and David had even met, Rachel and David had been a couple. The realization sent a shiver down her spine.
Rachel, Laura began, her voice trembling with a mixture of confusion and betrayal. Is that you and David?
Rachel's eyes widened, a flicker of panic crossing her features. She hesitated for a moment, then let out a sigh, her shoulders slumping with defeat.
It was a long time ago, she mumbled, avoiding Laura's gaze.
Section 7. Unmasking the Manipulator.
My mind raced, connecting the dots. Rachel's insistence on following David, her detailed account of their encounters, the whispers of doubt she had so cleverly planted in my mind. It hadn't been concern that motivated Rachel. It had been jealousy, a carefully orchestrated plan to destroy my marriage, to reclaim what she believed was rightfully hers.
Confronting Rachel was like peeling back layers of a carefully constructed facade.
I confessed to everything. My lingering feelings for David, the resentment that festered within me as I watched your love story unfold.
Laura listened, her heart breaking all over again, this time for a different reason. The betrayal cut deep, a wound that might never fully heal, but amidst the pain, a strange sense of clarity began to emerge. Section 8. Finding strength in letting go. As the shock of Rachel's betrayal began to fade, Laura was left with a profound sense of emptiness. The two people she had trusted most in the world, the two pillars of her life, had crumbled before her eyes. She had been lied to, manipulated, and betrayed by the two people she had loved most.
But amidst the wreckage, a flicker of something new began to emerge. Strength. The strength to walk away from the pain, to rebuild my life on my own terms. I realized that forgiveness, while difficult, was the only path to true healing. Not for David, and certainly not for Rachel, but for myself.
Laura knew that moving on wouldn't be easy. There would be days filled with sadness, with anger, with the lingering sting of betrayal. But she also knew that she deserved more. She deserved a love built on trust, on honesty, on a foundation that couldn't be shaken. Section 9. Embracing a brighter future. The years that followed were a testament to Laura's resilience. She poured her energy into her children, her career, and rediscovering herself. She took up painting, her canvases filled with vibrant colors that reflected her newfound sense of freedom. She traveled, exploring new places and embracing new experiences.
I learned to love again, this time with open eyes and a guarded heart. It wasn't the all-consuming passion of my youth, but a quieter, more mature love built on mutual respect and shared dreams.
And as she looked back on her journey, Laura realized that sometimes the greatest betrayals could lead to the most beautiful transformations. That letting go of the past, however painful, was essential to making space for a brighter future. Section 10. The enduring power of forgiveness. Laura never forgot the pain of David and Rachel's betrayal. The scars, though faded, would always be a part of her story. But she refused to let their actions define her. She learned that forgiveness, while not condoning their actions, was ultimately a gift she gave herself. A release from the shackles of resentment, a chance to finally heal.
For in the tapestry of life, even the darkest threads could serve a purpose. They added depth and texture, reminding us of our own resilience, our capacity for growth, and the enduring power of the human spirit to overcome even the most devastating betrayals.
And in the end, that realization was more liberating than any revenge could ever be.